Books we read. Books we read.
La 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 la
Hey guys, welcome to Between the Pages. Today we're joined by Jenisha. She's a great friend and I love hanging out with her. Today she's here with a fantastic book called The Wild Robot. This book seriously makes you think outside the box and really teaches you about nature. So what are we waiting for? Let's dive in and welcome Jenisha. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram for more updates and behind the scenes. Just search for us at Between the Pages _BTP. If you guys like today's discussion, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to come on our show as a guest, fill out the form. The link is in the description below. Hi Janisha, welcome to Between the Pages.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How is the summer holidays going?
It's very interesting. I cannot find stuff to do.
All right. So, where does reading come into your schedule?
It was in my schedule when I was in school, but now there are summer holidays, and yeah, there is no reading in my schedule. I don't have any books to read now.
All right. So, tell us about yourself.
I'm Jenisha. I'm 10, and I came for your house to podcast.
All right. So, tell us your favorite books. What genre do you like?
I mostly like fantasy and fiction.
All right. So, what book are you here with today?
So today I have The Wild Robot. It's kind of like a family book, but there's kind of a robot who adopts a goose after she accidentally kills his mother.
A robot had a mother.
The goose had a mother.
Okay. So, I was researching about this book. I didn't go deep into the story because I wanted to know about it from you. But you know that I love dad jokes, and I searched up a few about robots. And since we came into the topic of a mother, let's just switch. I have a dad joke. Let's talk here. There's a father, but okay.
Okay.
So, what did the dad say to his robot when he died? I mean, when the robot died. Rust in peace.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So, tell us about the story in brief, in a few sentences.
There's a robot that her name's Roz. She washes up on an island after her car she washes up on an island, and then she discovers herself, and afterwards she begins to talk with animals. She can understand their language, and then now she is a mother. Like in the book, she's a mother, and she is growing her goose. His name's Brightwing. Yeah. So yeah, that's like the main story.
All right. So, you mentioned that she's changed a lot in the story. So, what were the things that बहुत notice हो रहे थे कि वो पहली ऐसी थी and now she's changed, she's grown in a way?
So, like, first she was kind of baby-like. She didn't know what to do, and she was just like a baby in the forest. But then afterwards, she learned how to survive. She made a family, like just a goose. And then and then she began to have many hobbies. Like she built lodges for the other animals in the winter and stuff. Yeah.
All right. So, was there anything you would change about this story?
No, really not. I actually love the story very much, and this is one of my favorite books.
Okay. And what do you think the author, let me wait, his name is Peter Brown.
Yeah.
What do you think he was trying to convey through this story?
So I think mainly how to maybe a journey through like wilderness and the parents.
Was there anything about like particularly nature that he described a lot?
So he actually described like the human world through the eyes of a
A robot.
goose and a
Oh,
robot.
wow. This podcast is very like coincidental, kind of like that, because I just came from a camp, a summer camp, which was based in a forest in Maharashtra.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I was very excited to know ki story mein kya hoga and what happened. Like, it was just coincidental.
Sure.
All right. So, I think Roz was stranded on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were Roz, what would be the first thing you would do to survive?
So like mostly I would build a shelter, but since Rose did not know to do that, she
Now imagine you're a robot. And
ah.
what would be the first thing you would do? And what is the first thing she did?
So the first thing I would do is try to figure out where am I. But like the first thing she did was just wing it.
This reminds me of our wild survival quest now. Oh my God. Okay. And what were you feeling when you were reading this book?
I was going through like first there was confusion with me because I did not understand like a bit of the story, and I mostly did this for my badge. And then I got like really into it, and I felt really like happy that Rose finally like got herself together and like got went through so much in the jungle.
Were there
I
any funny moments in this story?
Well, there was a lot like usually just covered up with bushes, and she would just like lay down in the grass and observe. But for me, it just looked like she was spying on the other animals all the time.
All right. And are there any things that are still not resolved when you read the book? You were like, I want more, or maybe I'm still questioning this
Yeah.
part.
So there is actually more of the series, I guess. Yeah. So like afterwards, so there's a part where the goose goes south for I don't know. Yeah, just goes south for hibernation. I
Just
don't
go
know.
on.
So when he comes back, he tells Roz about the story. I mean, what he went through and how the world's changing over there. So like yeah. So I wanted more about like I think Roz goes to the human world in the next book. So I want more.
I see. Um, yeah. If you could have any one of Rose's abilities, what would it be and why would you choose that?
It would be like to and can build anything. Like she built lodges and she built her own leg after it broke. So yeah, that.
I heard a joke about this, but I can't remember it anymore. It was so funny. But, okay. So, were you satisfied with how the story ended?
Yeah, it was kind of good. Like the story was a happy ending, but I wanted more.
All right. And would you recommend this to other kids your age?
I guess so, yeah, but like a little younger than me because I think they would find the book more interesting and fun.
And what would you say to them to read it? Persuade them.
So I think how like if they're interested in robots and stuff, so I would prefer the book to them, like telling them it's full of robots and mysteries.
All right. And this is one thing that was like, I was thinking about it because a robot is a robot and an animal is an animal.
Huh.
Like, uski alag feelings hoti hai, and I don't even know if robots have feelings.
Okay.
So, how did like इस story में empathy और friendship कैसे explore की गई थी?
तो फिर तो पहले तो I'll just tell you a part of the story. So first she was actually climbing a mountain, and then there was a rainstorm, like a storm, and then she just kind of fell a bit, and then she cracked no not yeah she cracked some of goose eggs and his mother, so like kind of that's how they met. And she felt guilt. I don't know how she felt it, but she felt guilty about breaking like some eggs, so she took the last egg and take care of it as her own child.
Was that the goose?
Yes.
Okay. So, I have a few rapid fire questions for you. It was great talking about the book, but some random questions.
Okay.
So, if you could swap lives with a robot for a day, what would be the first thing you'd do?
I'll fly.
A robot can fly?
Yes.
A flying robot?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Which reminds me of a joke. Not exactly a flying robot, but just reminds me.
Yes.
How do you use a remote control to calm down a robot dog?
How?
You press the pause button. I know you love that. Okay. Now, if robots took over the world, what job do you think they'd be the worst at?
Mm, I think most likely handling with water, like gardening. No, not gardening. Yeah. Do anything with gentle stuff, because robots have like kind of a hard touch. So yeah.
I personally think they would be awful at being a therapist. I know there's a lot of AIs that have been good therapists, but like, can an AI seriously understand what a human feels? Because if I tell you ki a robot is a robot and an animal is an animal, you get what I'm trying to say. Would a robot understand that?
I do not think so. So yeah, I agree with you too.
Okay, so would you rather have a robot sidekick with a terrible sense of humor, which sounds like me, or one that constantly sings of key, which also sounds like me?
You.
Me? Both of them?
Yes.
All right. If you could have a conversation with any animal, which one would it be and why? Because the robot was in a forest.
I think birds, because they like fly around like everywhere, and then I could just have a conversation about the things, and then maybe I could just tell them to fly a specific place and tell me what's happening.
Fun fact, the summer camp I went to, so there's this respected guy
Okay.
called Kiran Purandare.
Okay.
So he imitates bird calls and birds reply to him. And we noticed, like, he imitated a few birds and he talked to them in front of us. And I don't really remember what had happened. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we had gone to this lake to look at birds and everything. And then I think we disturbed this very rare, special bird.
Okay.
And then it flew away and it was making this weird noise, okay? So Kiran Purandare, also known as Kika, he intently listened to it, he imitated it, and he was like, this means that the bird is annoyed by us and he's tired and he's like just annoyed at you guys that you irritated him and he had to fly away because of you guys. This reminds me of that. He's a very cool guy though. Okay. So I'll just ask you one last because almost over time's over.
Yeah.
I asked this to my friend as well.
Huh.
Would you rather spend a day in a robot factory or a robot zoo?
Ooh. A robot zoo.
I would
It
rather
would be
spend
fun.
in a robot factory.
Why?
I don't know. A robot zoo sounds weird.
That's why I want to go with it.
All right. I had fun talking to you.
Thank you.
And you know that I think I've told you this before, but so our podcast has a tradition where every guest writes a question for the next guest. So I have a question for you. Um, It's from Anamika, ma'am. And
Acha.
she's asking what can be done to move reading from a boring activity to an interesting activity for others?
Make a library as a playground.
How describe it a
See,
little more?
so in a library, it's just the normal. It looks boring from my angle because it's just full of books, and yeah, that's what's my concern. But like, there are a few like beanbag chairs and stuff. But if a library was kind of a more like playful kind of way and not themed like a library, so it would kind of be more fun and more people would get used to it and go there.
Do you think the deer thing that happens at your school, drop
Uh,
everything and read, helps in making it an interesting activity?
I think a bit, but
Can you expand the theme deer to others as well?
so like there is kind of like a time where we read at our school. So at there you can't do anything but read. So I think that it is kind of fair. Like in every other school there is a reading time, but like yeah, it does improve reading a bit.
And how has reading helped you overall in your life?
Well, when I was young, I didn't. Well, I used to read a bit, but then when I started reading, I noticed like more of grammar and spelling, so that helped me a lot.
I see. So it's your turn to write a question for the next guest. Write your name and the question.
Okay.
And now I want to learn Marathi. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jenisha, for joining us on Between the Pages. I had a lovely time catching up with you again, and I
Thank
hope we
you.
meet soon. I hope you guys liked today's discussion. Until next time, it's me, Anna Lilani, closing the BTP book for this week. Bye bye.
la 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 la